Hey, Impact Arkansas students. This is District Youth Director Dwayne Oler, and I just wanted to jump on here and talk to you today about a new thing that we have coming to YouTube. This is for all our students and anybody who wants to learn more about the Word and begin to understand who they are in Jesus and begin to make a difference in this world. There will be some other videos that I'm going to be trying to post on here. They're going to be called Talks with Timothy, where I will be interviewing local pastors for the Pentecostal Church of God and students of the Youth Impact Arkansas Youth Ministries, and just talking over questions and stuff that have been asked. Students have asked these questions of the things that they're facing in the world and in their schools and in their homes and their communities. And so we want to try to answer those questions, and those are going to be called Talks with Timothy. So when you see that up on the title, Talks with Timothy, you know that's what that's going to be, is an interview over a question that has been asked. We're going to do our best to get the answers to all these questions, because we want you guys to have the answers and know how to answer, or how to understand, be able to understand what you're facing in your life, because that's important. But these other videos that I'm going to try to put on here are just videos of me opening up the Word. I'm going to try to do this every Monday morning, and just give you something to listen to, and maybe even jump in to open your Bible, get your Bible open, and follow along in the scriptures that I read, and do a study for yourself. Don't just take my word for it, but open your Bible yourself, get into the Word, and seek out your own salvation with fear and trembling. All right. I believe that when we open up the Word, that God reveals Himself through it. So today, I want to start this whole thing out with the first video ever on this channel, brand new channel. I want to start out in 2 Corinthians chapter 10. And I'm going to be starting in verse 3. And if you don't already know, this is where Paul was teaching about the spiritual warfare, and this scripture's preached on a lot, but I want us just to kind of break it down and talk about it, make it relative with what you're going through and what you're facing in your life today. And I hope I can do that today. I'm not going to take very long. I'm going to try to set this down in just a few minutes, but give you enough that this can be something that maybe you can watch every day, or encourage you today to make it through the week till next Monday. So 2 Corinthians chapter 10 verses 4 says, "For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty in God for pulling down strongholds." Verse 5, "Casting down arguments and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, bringing every thought into captivity to the obedience of Christ." So what's this talking about? So let's go back to verse 4. It says that our weapons of warfare are not carnal. So what's this talking about? So we're talking about spiritual warfare, right? Spiritual warfare. What is spiritual warfare? It is all the things. It's not a physical fight, but it is a fight that is unseen. It's what the enemy does. He comes at us. He fights our mind, and he comes at us, and there are so many things that take place that are against us that we cannot see, that the enemy is fighting us with. And God is encouraging us right here in 2 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 4, is telling us that He has equipped us with weapons of warfare. He has given us the ability to be able to fight these invisible forces. The Bible tells us that there are enemies that are of principalities, rulers of darkness, and the governments of darkness. So we're fighting these principalities. We're fighting these spiritual enemies, and we can't physically see them. To me, that seems a little bit unfair. It seems, it makes me question and think, okay, how can I fight something that is unseen? The good news is God has given us His Word. He's given us spiritual weapons that are not of the flesh. That's what carnal means, is flesh. So it's spiritual weapons that God has given us that is not a physical weapon. It's not a sword, like a physical sword. It's not a gun. It's not, whatever, a baseball bat, whatever kind of thing you would think of could be used as a weapon. That's not what He's talking about. He's talking about, I have equipped you with the things that are coming at you invisibly. I've equipped you with weapons that can fight that invisible force. So you may not be able to see it with your physical eyes, but I've given you weapons, tools to be able to discern. That's one of them. To discern that this enemy is after you and what he's doing, that you can be able to fight them off. I'm going to tell you, these weapons that God has given you, the Bible tells us what they are. Discernment. All the gifts that the Spirit has given you are to be able to fight this invisible force. You got discernment. You got prayer. You've got the word of knowledge, wisdom. You got self-control. You got all of these good gifts that God has equipped you with to be able to fight this invisible force. I want to tell you, if the enemy's coming at you today, God has given you the weapons to fight him off. Don't be afraid to come to God and be like, Lord, I've got a battle that I'm facing right now, and I need your help. And just begin to pray. Just begin to talk to God. And when that temptation and when those things start coming at you, that's one of the weapons that the invisible force, the enemy, uses against you, is temptation. So when those temptations start coming at you, run from them. Not only run from them, but change the atmosphere. Don't give in to the temptation. Don't give in to your flesh. But instead, get a mindset of saying, okay, I'm going to create an atmosphere to where these invisible forces, my enemy cannot overcome me. Put on some worship music. Put on a minister that you like listening to that's preaching the word. Listen to the Bible. Listen to the word. Open up your word. Begin to read your word. And all of these things that I'm telling you will help you defeat and win the warfare that's going on in the spiritual side of it. And he says here, casting down arguments and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, bringing every thought into captivity to the obedience of Christ. I'm going to share this with you today, just because this is what happened, and this is how I overcame an obstacle. And so the enemy was coming at me with temptations, and in my mind was telling me, this is what the flesh would want to do. I'm starting to notice these things. So, okay, how do I overcome that? Let me change my mindset. Instead of being led by my flesh, I'm going to let my spirit man take control. So what I did is I ended up turning on a minister by the name of John Bevere. I love listening to him, and he's got powerful word, and I'm listening to his word, and I'm praying, and then I get my hands busy. I start working. I start doing some cleaning around the house, and I'm getting myself busy, and I'm moving. And what ended up happening is I began to escape the temptation that the enemy was throwing at me. And that's what you got to do, guys. That's what you got to do. That's what the Bible is talking about right there, is that we have weapons that we can use in this warfare that the enemy is coming at us. We're not just thrown out there to the wolves for us to be devoured and overcome. God has equipped you. God has equipped you to be able to overcome the warfare that you're in. Don't give in. Don't give up. But pull out those weapons and start fighting. Start fighting those. Resist the temptation. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. I hope this encouraged you today. Love you guys. And be looking out for those videos that I told you about when we got started. And talk to you later.